Yesterday, I said some things about grilling outside in the cold. It's not the cold that's the problem, it's the grilling. I don't grill. I also don't garden. You know, some people have some land maybe in front of their house or in the back. You know what I mean? And they plant stuff. They take seeds and water, and I guess they grow fruit or meat or something. I'm not really exposed to that. Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and now we're going to look at the part two to yesterday's part one, which is part two of a series. I don't know. We're going to keep talking about the PowerShell SDK and how do we create our own little function to query some stuff in Intune. I mean, you could probably get an app to do the gardening for you, I would imagine. If I wanted to, I can go as far as to build a function to search for specific devices in order to find who has a device with a specific name and a specific OS version. All right, so let's build this together. Function, we'll say Intune filter Intune. That is going to take a email address, and an OS version. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Intune devices equals get mg device management, manage device, and we're going to say user equals email address, user devices equals Intune devices, where object email address is equal to user devices. And we are going to select object, expand property, device name, we can just do it this way, device name, OS version. And then we can say if OS version is not equal to null, if the OS version is not equal to null, then we can say, what are we saying? We're saying selected devices equals Intune devices equals user devices where object OS version is equal to, or actually it's match, right? It's match OS version. And then we can return selected devices. Else, return selected devices. Okay, we run that, and now we can say filter Intune. The email address we're going to give it is Steve Weiner at stevecapacity.com, and the OS version is going to be 2861. Let's see, expand property, device name. Okay. All right, sorry, had an error. I just realized we don't need expand property, so my bad. Okay. But that's why we do these things. Okay, so we're going to clear that. And so now what we can do is we can run the function Intune. Email address is going to be Steve Weiner at stevecapacity.com. OS version 2861. And that gives us back the device we're looking for. Now, if I didn't have the OS version, it checks for that. And it's going to give me, if the OS is not equal to null, actually it should be if not OS. If OS version, let's flip this around. If OS version, return that. Oh, because we didn't set the selected devices variable. Wow. Okay. Then selected devices equals user devices. Let's rerun that and run the function filter. There we go. Now it's going to give me all of my devices as opposed to just the one. So basically I said if the OS version is not equal to null, meaning if there's something there, just return the one that matches the OS version. If not, return just the user devices, which would just be everything with the user devices are just the ones that match my email address. And then we can also technically put in a probably another if user if email address is not equal to null. Probably put all of this inside, right? And then we can have another else, right host, nothing was provided to the function. Okay, so let's clear the screen and try that again. So if we do filter Intune device, nothing was provided to the function. And there's probably some better error handling, but you can see how just by getting just using two parameters, we can quickly have something where you can search through Intune. And you can do that with any Intune parameter. All right, so there you go. We were able to take the PowerShell SDK, take some of the variables we created before and make a function just to kind of query what we want on the fly without going through Intune. And obviously you can do this with anything. We did, the name, the OS of the device, but, explore the get managed devices commandlet and play with different attributes. So we got a lot more coming with the graph. We're going to start talking about how do we call it without modules, how can we interact with just the REST API endpoints and putting together more complex custom solutions for Intune. So hop in the Discord if you're not in there. Feel free to chat, ask questions. We're going to be putting the function you see today on GitHub and later. 5, 4